What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and to start off today's video, I think we should just go into the item shop and look at the bestsellers category, wherever that actually is. Okay, here it is right here. We got K-pop Demon Hunters, we got the Sabrina Carpenter bundle right here. We have ourselves, Mischief Big Red Boot Black. This is a version of the Mischief boots that were in red that were in the item shop recently, or I guess that released a while ago, and it's literally a black variant. All they did was change the texture of it, and if we actually go down here a little bit, you can see the red boots are right here for 1,200. The black boots are right here for 1,200. And if you buy the Lapin bundle, you actually get the boots at a 200 V-Buck discount. So gracious of the Lord Epic Games out there, right? Now, I want to make today's video to talk about a few things when it comes to the cosmetic pricing for kicks. Firstly, I've gotten to a point, right, where I'm like, you know what? I don't really even care that I see these in the shop, right? It's interesting to see how they're reselling, a black version of the Mischief Big Red boots in the item shop for the exact same price, when in the other situation, we typically would have just got these as variants. But at the same time, I'm not the target audience for kicks, so I can't really say anything for it. If we go to my locker right now, we go all the way down to the kicks category. Have I bought kicks a few times? Yes, I don't know how I got these. I don't remember buying these. I think I got these right here for free or something. But I buy the goofier kicks in the game, right? The pupper slippers, the chicken chonkers, the water waddlers. We got the nana slippies. The only one that was more of like a realistic kick that I decided I wanted to purchase was actually the Nike Cherry Blossoms right here and the Nike Blazer Mid 77 Wash Denim. Now, I guess you could count the Star Wars Crocs as well in that category, but I personally wouldn't. And then other kicks like the Air Jordan 3 SE Unites, I got because I owned an M&M skin, and they were like, hey, if you own the skin, you're technically already on these kicks, and they granted it to everyone else. But I'm not the target audience for kicks. All the kicks I have mainly bought, with the exclusion of like 2, 3, maybe including the Star Wars Crocs, have been cheaper ones, have been on the goofier side. Like, for example, being able to wear little duck swaddlers thingies on the bottom of Cowboy Bebop, Spike Spiegel and all that stuff. Being able to have the puppy slippers, since we didn't fully get all the characters and everything Cowboy Bebop. Little things here and there I'd like to goof around with. So when it comes to situations like this, I don't really feel like I have a right to complain about this. The only thing I do feel like I have a right to complain about is the Lapin bundle right here only being a 200 V-Buck discount. And in fact, if we actually go ahead and go over here, and we go to unowned items and we look in the bundle category, it appears that every single time a pair of kicks is bundled with a skin, the kicks are only discounted by 200 V-Bucks, right? Like you see right here, I already own the skin, so I get a huge discount where it's basically like just buying the kicks themselves. And instead of paying 800 V-Bucks for this pair of kicks right here, I would be paying 600. Now that is very weird to see, because you look at other stuff, like for example, the Avatar Warriors of Pandora bundle, you get yourself 2 skins, you get a glider, you get an emote, you get 2 backblings, 2 pickaxes, a loading screen, and you're getting a very good discount here, right? You're getting 2,200 V-Bucks off, but you don't really get that much of a discount when you're actually buying the kicks from a bundle. Now, we can look at situations like this right here with Dark Ruby, where you're only getting 300 V-Bucks off, and all you're getting is a skin, a pickaxe, and a wrap. But I feel like overall in Fortnite, there's this issue where a lot of cosmetics that you can actually purchase end up having either really, really good discounts, or they have like no discount whatsoever. And it always feels like kicks, especially, branded kicks like Mischief Big Red Boots, are always more on the expensive side, unless you've just had a huge selection of skins over the years you've been playing this game. But at the exact same time, I'm not the target audience for it, so it's not like I can fully complain, because if we look here, in the bestsellers category, which granted a lot of people have said is kind of faked or whatever, different people get like different answers for the bestsellers category, maybe it's dependent on region or something, who knows, but the black variant of the Big Red Boots are here, and they're available for you to actually purchase, and they're in a bestseller, they're right next to Mr. Savage, Bones Jammin'. Of course, Sabrina Carpenter and K-pop Demon Hunters is actually more popular to purchase than the kicks themselves. But it's not like no one's buying them. There's definitely a genuine group of people who are out there buying these kicks because they want them for one reason or the other. And that's why I wanted to kind of mention this and kind of bring up this topic, because I feel like kicks like this, I'm not the target audience, so I don't really care what they're priced at. But if the people who do buy kicks and are used to these like 1,200 V-Buck prices are continuing to buy them, then I have no problem with it. I know some people are saying it's a scam, with them going ahead and having a black variant for 1,200 V-Bucks when there's already the normal normal red one, they could add a variant too. But if we go to my locker and if we go all the way down to like some older skins, you gotta keep in mind, a lot of skins they used to sell in this game were just kind of like color swaps, you know, like maybe right here he got a hat and that was pretty much it, but it's not like they haven't gone ahead and just sold us reskinned versions of stuff over and over again. I mean, if we go ahead and like, I don't really know the best way to show a good example of this for a character that doesn't have a hat, but like the old school skins from Chapter 1, Season 1 were always just like a different color for the shirt and maybe a hat. If we look over here, for example, you know, I think this is actually, can I find another skin that's like that without the hat on it that we can show down here or something? I don't believe we can. But it's like you look at skins like this, right? And this looks like just a simplistic default skin you would have back in the day, right? This looks like a simplistic default skin. There's nothing really to write home about these skins, but we have had so many different types of these skins sold in the item shop, which really are just kind of like, you know, retextured versions of the pants, maybe the shirt, maybe the coloring overall, and of course them throwing a hat or maybe like an armband on the side of them, that it's like, this has happened for years, right? You know, we've had them go ahead and just resell us reskins and revariants and everything else multiple times before. And granted, there have been issues with that before. You know, there have been some backlash. It seems like something that the Fortnite community has pretty much gotten used to, and they get excited for seeing these, you know, reskins released in the item shop that they're able to purchase. I mean, maybe if we just type Jonesy, we get it. Or let me go ahead and type this one by one. We get a good example, right? Because, you know, we don't have all of the Jonesy skins here, but, you know, the main thing about Jonesy is he's got that face right there. And we have Jonesy the First. Let's just go ahead and equip him real quickly and then go all the way back down here. You see Jonesy the First right here. This was technically a default skin, so it has a little bit more virality for why people would actually purchase it. And then we go on Ranger. It's Jonesy the First. It's just Jonesy the First, but with a different color for the pants. I think even the, okay, yeah, the shirt changes as well, but this is something that it's like people would still buy in the item shop because they like that character or something. And I feel like that same situation, even though it doesn't apply to me, is kind of the same thing with kicks. Would I purchase these? Not really, no, unless I'm like very compelled or I have a friend peer pressuring me into buying them. But is there a group of people out there who actually do want to purchase them? Yes. So I think it's one of those things where I just have to be like, you know what? I don't care for these. I think personally, as someone who doesn't really care for kicks, the price is stupid and they should have just had the black version as a variant for the red shoes. But at the exact same time, it's not my place to complain. So if people enjoy them that are purchasing it, then they can do that. I'm just not going to buy it. And I think that's how we need to focus when it comes to Fortnite cosmetics in general a lot more. Is just, it's not something for me that I plan on purchasing because of the pricing or because of one reason or another, but there's definitely a group of people out there who are interested on actually purchasing these things, so I'm not going to put them down because they want to have a certain item or whatever else that I don't really care for, right? You know, I'm just going to go ahead and move on with my day and be like, you know, it was cool to see it, but it's not for me. Now, is this video kind of just me yapping because I saw there were kicks in the game and that they were in the bestseller category? Yes. Do I personally think that these are still overpriced? Yes. Do I plan to go ahead and start a tirade on the social media again, being like, guys, kicks need to be sold at a cheaper price or whatever else? No, because honestly, it doesn't bother me if I don't have these kicks, right? If I did have them, cool. If it got gifted to me, I'd probably joke around with them a little bit. But as someone who doesn't really get gifts in Fortnite, and as someone who doesn't plan on buying these, they're just something that exists in the game, you know? It's just the shoe version of the old school equivalent of what we had with skins in the early days of Fortnite. Just retextured shirts and pants with maybe an extra thing here or there. Until next time, however, I hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments down below, do you agree with what I think when it comes to kicks, or do you think I am just delusional? And until next time, I'll catch you guys a little bit later with another upload. Peace out.